A sick mind made well is a stronger mind.
Introduction. I once believed that America was a nation founded on the concepts of inalienable rights, truths, and liberties. Based on the evidence presented to me, I can see that these are merely nugatory proclamations. I allowed myself to believe in these concepts because they preserve the wellness of my mind. With my conceptual mind, I must acknowledge a bitter truth. As a black man in America, I must lie to myself constantly to keep my mind sane. For whom are these liberties meant? Who can partake in the declaration of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? A sane mind wonders. I anticipate that some readers will push back on my interpretation of this robust bond. I prepare for those who move to heighten the concept of the word pursuit, implying that this bond is not guaranteed, that these promises of rights are for only the pursuers. So please, allow my sane mind to respond. This bond is neither inalienable nor a right. That leads me to right now. Welcome to the sick mind of a sane person. I am the author and the moderator of this mind, and the conductor of these excursions. This journey through my mind will reflect what I've seen and, most importantly, what I hope to see. I am aware that racism is not exclusive to black and brown bodies, but it is my black body in which my experiences lie. My black thoughts and consciousness are from where I speak. Do not be surprised if you begin to realize that maybe it's not only my mind that has become sick. After all, I am not naive enough to believe that questioning racism and white supremacy are exclusive to my mind only. I am just the one to express it through the lens of sanity and sickness. And with that said, enjoy this expedition.
Making of the Mind, the Race Edition. I write poems and critical thoughts during moments when I am not well. But believe me, I am well enough to describe, analyze, and process what is in front of me. I realize that I was born sane. As a sane person, I have decided to record my actions too, and reflections on white supremacy as I've experienced it. When a black body honestly analyzes a black mind and realizes that a racially sedated consciousness is part of his or her sanity, this mind can, and more likely will, become sick. Now that I know this, I can confirm that it is not in error when I write, and what I write. These experiences come in chaotic stories, and occasional anecdotes followed by my disorderly, yet manageable compiled thoughts. Outbursts, if you will. But I prefer it that way, and therefore I record them as such. I label these outbursts as moments to remind myself that just as any sickness does, these too shall pass. Allowing these moments to pass without learning from them can result in cynical repetition. So with these moments, I am compelled to reflect on these experiences and hopefully make plans for a better future, if not for myself, then for the next generation. On to my first of many questions. What makes the mind sick? And more specifically, what role does white supremacy play in this sickness? Reacting to the chaos caused by white supremacy, and especially when the chaos is yours, can lead to a sick mind. Even though it can also expose the ailments of the mind, captioning these outbursts and acting as the conductor and passenger of such a mind allow for amazing reflections. With the primary goal of deconstructing racism and white supremacy, I enable these reflections to present a portal to a greater understanding that will allow a pathway to sanity, because I let it. I do this willingly, but it is exceedingly painful. To unshackle the mind is to bear free thought. It is to allow your God-given consciousness to break away from any inferiority complex and allow its strong sense of self-erudition. For example, let's take a look at the second question that led me to write. As a black man, how do I contribute to the sustainability of white supremacy? To my brothers, have you ever thought about that? Well, I have, as you will see in my outbursts to follow. It is not possible for a sane mind not to get sick once in a while, due to the chaos that surrounds it and the new experiences that tend to remake it. Only if we let it, of course. I hope you have a few ways of getting your sane mind well, but if not, I hope my chaotic stories, occasional anecdotes, and compiled thoughts may offer a perspective that leads to your own remedy. I write within my honest being. I live with the philosophy that there is no truth, and that the most potent perception of reality remains untold. I chose to speak on the concept of racism first, because my honest being compelled me to do so. Its cancer is lethal to our society, and if we were ever in need of a cure, it is now. In diagnosing my sick mind, I had to unshackle the greatness of white supremacy. This unshackling continues to be my most significant challenge as of yet. With that, let us begin.
Chapter 1. The Walk. A walk is dreadful as the walk on Commerce Street. I reckoned my heart, but I felt no beat. Water ashore this unprosperous feet. I reckon my lungs, but I can't breathe. Oh, what land is this, eyes my brother to the north? Oh, what a sight this is, propelled by an evil oar. Thoroughly scorched, and spirit so weary. A baby lost, mother's eye so teary. Lord, strength doesn't know a will like this. I take from this walk, this dreadful walk on Commerce Street. What good do you take from the rights of my body? What amends do you make from the past till now? What good is a conscience that proclaims it is woke, when it is capitalized ideologies leaves you morally broke? Oh, a walk, as dreadful as the walk on Commerce Street. Crawling, Walking, and Running from Racism. SR. Self-Reflection. For decades, racial hate has been analyzed and theorized. Authors, social scientists, and theologians have kept a critical eye on the evolution and the sustainability of racism. A type of hate that is perplexing. Some see racism as the subset of white supremacy. Some see racism as negative actions some do to others based on the pigment of their skin. And some don't see racism at all. I had the opportunity to speak not only to those who see themselves as anti-racist, but also those who see themselves as reformed white supremacists. What stood out to me in my communication with them is not just their passion for eradicating the hate of racism, but their methods of doing that. This I will discuss later. For now, I want to dive into one of my many thoughts about racism, and hopefully address an important question. How do we recognize and move to end racism? My first moment begins here. I started to think about all the cliches that include the word walk, and how it lends itself to the conversation about racism and the deconstruction of white supremacy. First thought, you must crawl before you walk. A very common phrase. It is appropriate to begin this chapter, or this moment as I like to call it, titled The Walk. It wasn't long ago that I took a walk down Commerce Street in Montgomery, Alabama. I visited this site for its historical excursion into the slave narrative. Someone asked me a long time ago why I chose to talk about and ponder slavery, lynchings, Jim Crow, and other painful moments in Black America's history. This I will disclose in the last chapter. But it should be known right now that I see my reflection on these moments as signs of strength and perseverance. To understand this outburst and its reflections, I will recount my conversations with one of my white friends about this trip to Alabama and my intentions to visit some of the landmarks that hold America accountable for its treacherous history. My friend responded, "That seems like a lot of painful things to visit at once." At that moment, I found that in white America, my sense of the walk, the steps necessary to deal with racism in our society, may be missing. What's more alarming is that I believe the same is valid with Black America too. When it comes to taking the steps needed to face racism, eradicate this evil, and put to rest this construct that separates us, our sense and our willingness remain indivisible. So regarding the phrase, you must crawl before you walk, when it comes to the painful walk of America's history, I realized that some people are not ready to walk, and that most are not prepared or unwilling to crawl. Second thought, reflection of the crawl. What constitutes crawling? I analyze the crawl into four main parts. First, you must invoke curiosity. Without curiosity, you will not have a need to crawl, let alone walk. I focus on development because that is what I've studied. I think of my kids' journey as they began to crawl. Usually kids are crawling to someone or something. My kids were no exception.
They would crawl back and forth to my wife and me.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?